Okay, very good morning to all of you.
Good morning, sir.
Good morning, sir.
Morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Good morning,
Good
sir.
morning.
Yeah. So today we are going to discuss about the non-oxidative phase of HMP pathway. So last time we discussed the oxidative phase and we also discussed about how the NADPH which is formed in the process is going to help us scavenge the reactive oxygen species, wherein we took example of a condition called as favism, which is caused by the consumption of fava beans, especially in individuals who are deficient in glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase enzyme. And we said that these individuals who are deficient in this enzyme, as they cannot produce enough NADPH, you will see that they are going to show some clinical manifestations, and it could also turn out to be fatal, right? So this is what we discussed last time, and now we have to move towards uh, the second part of this particular pathway, which we call as the non-oxidative phase. Now, the non oxidative phase may look a little difficult, but let me tell you that it's not really very difficult if you try and understand what the process is all about. Okay, so just be patient, hear me out. If there is an issue in understanding, we will repeat the part. Okay, don't worry about that. So as you can see that the very first slide on the screen right now is talking about the first reaction of non-oxidative phase. So do you remember you were forming this particular compound in the oxidative phase, ribulose 5-phosphate, and उसी से हम ribose 5-phosphate बना रहे थे, याद है? There used to be this ribulose 5-phosphate which was formed, which we used to isomerize to form ribose 5-phosphate. Now, in the non-oxidative phase, we are going to work with ribulose 5-phosphate. Okay, we are not going to form ribose 5-phosphate out of it. We are going to epimerize this ribulose 5-phosphate into xylulose 5-phosphate. Now, you very well know that epimers, they have very small differences. As you can see in this particular structure, you can see that the difference is only in terms of the position of the hydroxyl group. So you can see here in ribulose 5-phosphate on the third carbon, the hydroxyl group is towards our right. But if that is shifted towards the left, now you refer to the compound as xylulose 5-phosphate. So these two compounds, ribulose and xylulose, are indeed epimers of each other. So we are just converting ribulose 5-phosphate to xylulose 5-phosphate by using an enzyme called as epimerase. Okay, so the enzyme here is referred to as ribose 5-phosphate epimerase because the same enzyme can also help you convert ribose to xylulose. That's why the name has been given as ribose 5-phosphate epimerase. Okay, so you can convert ribulose to xylulose or even ribose to xylulose. Both the conversions are possible. So you call the enzyme as ribose 5-phosphate epimerase. Now, this is very simple a reaction. The problem begins with the two enzymes which are very, very significant. And they are significant not just from the point of the biochemical reaction that they catalyze, but also from the clinical manifestations that they would bring about if this enzyme is defective or there's a deficiency of this enzyme. There are some physiological changes that you will observe. So the first enzyme is called transketolase. Now trans ये word अगर enzyme में आया तो समझ जाने का that there is going to be transfer reactions that are going to take place wherein you are going to transfer groups from one compound to the other compound. That's why you use the term trans. Okay. Now here there is going to be a ketose donor. ओके, जहां से कीटोनिक ग्रुप जो है दैट इज गोइंग टू बी ट्रांसफर्ड एंड द एक्सेप्टर इज एन अल्डोज. सो कीटोज डोनर में से यू आर गोइंग टू ट्रांसफर द कीटोनिक ग्रुप, ओके, टू एन अल्डोज एक्सेप्टर. Okay, That's why you are going to refer to this as trans ketolase, because you're transferring a ketonic group. Fine. Now, the cofactor for this is TPP, thymine pyrophosphate. Remember, this thymine is not THYMINE. This is THIAMINE. This thymine is a vitamin B. Don't confuse it with nitrogenous bases. Okay, so you have to understand that TPP is its coenzyme. It is vitamin B, thymine pyrophosphate. Okay, so what is going to happen in this reaction? We are going to transfer a ketonic group to an aldose acceptor. Now, when you transfer the ketonic group, what happens? That also you have to understand. So when you transfer this pink colored part, CH2OH double bond O, you will also end up taking a hydrogen from this carbon. Okay, तो ये वाला हाइड्रोजन तुम यहां से ले जाओगे इसके साथ में. तो ये पूरा जो पार्ट है वो अब यहां आकर अटैच होगा. जब वो यहां अटैच होगा तो इट विल बिकम CH2OH C डबल बॉन्ड O. वो जो एक्स्ट्रा H लेकर आया है वो इस कार्बन को दे दिया जाएगा सच दैट इट बिकम्स CHOH एंड R2. और यहां से H निकालने के बाद बचेगा क्या? The aldehyde group, right? So C double bond OH and R1. I'm repeating again. When you're transferring this group, you're also taking a hydrogen from this CHOH. Okay, so you transfer this to this part, to the aldose acceptor. So it becomes CH2OH, C double bond O. The extra H that you got will also go to this carbon. So it will become CHOH and R2. While what remains behind here after this hydrogen is gone is C double bond OH and R1. So this is the enzyme which is catalyzed by transketolase in presence of thymine pyrophosphate. If thymine pyrophosphate is not present, this reaction will not take place. TPP is extremely important for this particular reaction to go to its completion. Okay, remember that in humans there is a syndrome called as the Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. Okay, the Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome, WERNICKE. Wait, I'll just write the name in the chat box. Okay, so this is the syndrome. This takes place when humans are having a mutation in the transketolase enzyme that they have, the gene that they have, which codes for transketolase. If there is a mutation, you will see that they do not have a functional, transketolase, and you will also see that if there are, deficiencies also in vitamin that's white, the thymine, so that TPP is not available. Even in those circumstances, transketolase doesn't function. सो अगर ऐसा कंडीशन हुआ जहां पर आइदर ट्रांसकीटोलेस नॉन फंक्शनल है या थाइमीन डेफिशिएंसी है जिसकी वजह से टीपीपी लेवल्स बहुत ही कम है, एंजाइम के लिए टीपीपी अवेलेबल नहीं है, तो ऐसे में तुमको दिखाई देगा कि एचएमपी का जो प्रोसेस है वो हिंडर हो जाएगा, नॉन ऑक्सीडेटिव फेस कैरी आउट नहीं हो पाएगा. नाउ व्हाट आर द सिम्टम्स ऑफ दिस? देयर इज गोइंग टू बी सिवियर मेमोरी लॉस. There is going to be mental confusion. This person will always be in dilemma. Okay, and this is clinical condition. There will be partial paralysis. And this syndrome is very, very common amongst alcoholics. Okay, because chronic alcohol consumption, like, addicted to alcohol, consumes a lot of alcohol every day, it's going to interfere with the intestinal absorption of vitamins. जो लोग बहुत ज्यादा अल्कोहल कंज्यूम करेंगे, विटामिन अब्जॉर्प्शन इंटेस्टाइन से ब्लड में होने वाला नहीं है. और अगर उसमें थाइमीन का अब्जॉर्प्शन नहीं हुआ तो थाइमीन अवेलेबिलिटी कम हो जाएगा, टीपीपी लेवल्स कम रहेंगे, तो ऐसे में ट्रांसकीटोलेस काम नहीं कर पाएगा. And these people will start exhibiting some neurological degenerative symptoms. And that syndrome is what we call as the Wernicke-Korsakoff syndrome. You'll get to read about this syndrome on in the book Leninger. So whenever you go through HMP, there is a section which is dedicated for this particular syndrome at the end, if I'm not wrong. So you can go through it to understand more about the syndrome. But I just wanted you to understand that, what happens when this particular enzyme is going to be non-functional or its coenzyme is not present. It's going to bring about a complete physiological disaster in the system. Okay, so let us see what does this transketolase reaction do in case of HMP, because that was a very general reaction, right? तो अभी हमको देखना चाहिए कि क्या होता है. अभी हमको पता है हमने xylulose बना लिया था, right? That xylulose 5-phosphate which we made by the epimerase reaction, it will now interact with ribose 5-phosphate. So now what you saw in the general reaction, you have a ketose donor and you have an aldose acceptor, right? This is your ketose donor, this is your aldose acceptor. So now what is going to happen in this particular scenario? We are going to transfer. What are we going to transfer? Can anyone tell me?
Ketose group.
We are going to transfer the ketonic group, right? What is that ketonic group? The CH2OH C double bond O part, right? But when we do that, what are we going to do? When we transfer this part, we are also going to transfer one hydrogen along with it. Okay, so when this entire group is removed, it is going to be attached over here. So it becomes CH2OH C double bond O. You got an extra hydrogen, so it gets attached over here such that this becomes a single bond. So it will become CHOH and the rest of the part remains the same. So already स्ट्रक्चर में 1 2 3 4 5 कार्बन था, तुमने 2 कार्बन और जोड़ दिया, यानी कि एक 7 कार्बन स्ट्रक्चर बना जिसका नाम है सेडोहेप्ट्यूलोज 7 फॉस्फेट. यहां तक सबको समझ में आया हम लोग क्या कर रहे हैं? हैव यू ऑल अंडरस्टूड दिस?
Yes,
Yes,
sir.
sir.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Okay. Now what am I left with in this blue part? I'm left with C double bond OH because I have lost this hydrogen and the rest of the part. So I have this structure left with me, which is a 3 carbon compound, which is nothing but glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. So I'm getting sedoheptylose 7 phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate by a transketolase reaction between xylulose 5 phosphate and ribose 5 phosphate. Okay. Now both of these are coming from the oxidative phase. Remember this. Because from ribulose, you formed xylulose. And from ribulose itself, you form ribose 5-phosphate in that process. So both of these raw materials are ideally coming from your oxidative phase. So oxidative phase is a must to carry out the rest of the process of non-oxidative phase. Okay, so I hope this part is clear to you. But before we move ahead, you should quickly note down the earlier reaction and this one. Just start with the heading non-oxidative phase. Write this reaction. Then we will go to the general reaction, and then we will go to the actual transketolase reaction. So write all these three. Then we'll go ahead. As soon as you're done writing, please type a yes in the chat box for me to know I can change the slide. As you write this reaction, just give heading as general reaction for transketolase. Be careful when you write these reactions because there are lots of things on the screen. So be careful when you note them down. See to it that you're noting the structure as it is. Okay, great. So I can see that most of you are done. We can go to the next reaction. This is called as trans-aldolase reaction. Okay, now this is something that it's more interesting to understand. Very similar in terms of what happens in case of transketolase. Very similar set of reaction. Okay, here you can see that what we are going to do basically. Okay, we are basically going to transfer this part. Okay, we are going to transfer this part to this region. Okay, so इसके नीचे ये पिंक पार्ट के नीचे कीटोनिक ग्रुप के नीचे हम ये एल्डिहाइड ग्रुप जो है वो शिफ्ट करने वाले हैं. Okay, so we are calling it as trans aldolase reaction. Okay, so what will happen is that when you are breaking this juncture, you are again going to pick up a hydrogen. एक हाइड्रोजन हम लोग यहाँ से उठा लेंगे. Okay, such that this gives C double bond OH and the rest of the part is here, you can see. Okay, it's a 4 carbon compound which is called as erythrose 4 phosphate, and this part, as it gets shifted here, you add the hydrogen which was removed there. Okay, such that this now becomes a 6 carbon compound, because there are 3 carbons over here and 3 carbons over here, so it becomes a 6 carbon compound which is nothing but fructose 6 phosphate. Okay, so you're transferring the glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate group to the ketonic group of pseudoheptylose 7 phosphate. In this process, one hydrogen is going to be removed from here and given to glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate, such that you form a 6 carbon compound which is fructose 6 phosphate. The 4 carbon aldehyde base group which is formed over here is nothing but erythrose 4 phosphate. Okay, so now you would say that, sir, ये transfer हुआ या ये transfer हुआ? See, that depends on which part attaches to the enzyme, right? Many people can say that, sir, don't you think that I can say that ketonic group has been transferred? But you have to understand which of these compounds attached to the enzyme, that matters, right? Are you understanding what I'm trying to say? समझ में आ रहा है? बहुत लोग ये बोल सकते हैं, सर कीटोनिक ग्रुप यहाँ पे एल्डिहाइड को अटैच किया, ऐसे हम नहीं बोल सकते क्या? नहीं बोल सकते हो. क्यों नहीं बोल सकते हो? क्योंकि इनमें से कौन सा कंपाउंड तुम्हारे एंजाइम पे जाकर अटैच हुआ? वाज इट pseudoheptylose 7 phosphate or was it glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate? That decides whether it is a transketolase or transaldolase. Are you understanding my point here?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So please keep that in mind. Don't get confused. Okay, so it's a very simple reaction. Once you understand ketolase, it's the same kind of reaction. Okay, so you are forming two compounds over here. Transketolase में तुमने दो compound बनाए थे. क्या compound थे वो दोनों? Pseudoheptylose 7 phosphate और glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. वही दो compounds के साथ हमने transaldolase किया, जिसमें से हमको मिला erythrose 4 phosphate and fructose 6 phosphate. Okay, so अभी ये दोनों के साथ the next reaction is going to take place, not with both of them but one of them, that is the second transketolase reaction. So let us keep fructose 6 phosphate aside for a while. Okay, जो fructose 6 phosphate हमने बनाया है वो अभी बाजू में रखते हैं कुछ टाइम के लिए. तो अभी हम erythrose 4 phosphate को another molecule of xylulose 5 phosphate के साथ interact करवा रहे हैं. It's a transketolase reaction. You need TPP for it to function. So here you will have this group transferred here. You will remove one hydrogen and pass it over here such that it becomes CH2OH, C double bond O, CHOH, and the rest of the part will remain the same. So that gives you a 6 carbon compound which is fructose 6 phosphate. The rest will become C double bond OH, CHOH, CH2O phosphate. So that is glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. Okay, so that's how you have got two molecules of fructose 6 phosphate. Agreed? How two molecules? One you formed in the transaldolase reaction. See, whatever you formed in the first transketolase reaction, ये दोनों molecules के साथ हमने transaldolase किया, तो ये दोनों यूज हो गए. ठीक है, इनमें से कुछ भी नहीं बचा. उसमें से हमको मिला erythrose 4 phosphate and fructose 6 phosphate. इसको हमने बचा के रखा. erythrose 4 phosphate को हमने यूज कर लिया with an another molecule of xylulose 5 phosphate coming from oxidative phase, जिससे हमको मिला glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate and fructose 6 phosphate. तो मेरे पास अभी है two molecules of fructose 6 phosphate and one molecule of glyceraldehyde 3 phosphate. Agreed, all of you? Do you all agree to this?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Great. Now, from that fructose 6 phosphate, See, this is the overall version, okay? This is telling you what is happening over here. You started with a ribose 5-phosphate and a xylulose 5-phosphate, okay? Both of this interacted in a trans-ketolase reaction, right? And it gave you pseudoheptylose 7-phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. These both participate in trans-aldolase reaction, and it gave you fructose 6-phosphate and erythrose 4-phosphate. We kept this aside. Okay. Erythrose 4-phosphate interacted with another xylulose 5-phosphate in a trans-ketolase reaction, gave you fructose 6-phosphate and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Now, what am I going to do with these two fructose 6-phosphate? Nothing. You just use isomerase, convert it into glucose 6-phosphate. Okay, so you are going to convert fructose 6-phosphate to glucose 6-phosphate. So you're going reverse of glycolysis. Okay, you're converting it back to glucose 6-phosphate, and this glucose 6-phosphate now can be sent to the process of glycolysis to generate ATP. Okay, so the process of HMP was to generate pentoses and your NADPH. Okay, if pentoses is the purpose, these pentoses will be incorporated into biomolecules, then non-oxidative phase में आने का सवाल उठता ही नहीं है, क्योंकि तुम्हारे पास pentoses बच ही नहीं रहे. बट अगर तुम्हारा पर्पस NADPH जनरेट करना है, तो NADPH जनरेट करने के बाद जो भी पेंटोजेस बचे हैं उनकी अगर बायोमोलिक्यूल्स के लिए जरूरत नहीं है, तो नॉन ऑक्सीडेटिव फेस में उसको ढकेल के उसको ग्लूकोज 6-फॉस्फेट तक वापस लाकर उसको ग्लाइकोलिसिस में चैनलाइज करके एटीपी बनाया जा सकता है. आई एम रिपीटिंग अगेन. If you did the oxidative phase of HMP for getting pentoses because you need them to synthesize, say, some coenzyme or nucleic acids, then obviously there is no question of non-oxidative phase happening because you don't have pentoses. But if your purpose of carrying out the oxidative phase was just for NADPH, then once the NADPH is generated, pentoses are formed. Those pentoses are not being incorporated into any biomolecules, then why should I waste it? Why can't I channelize this back to glycolysis? So you channelize it by converting it back to a 6-carbon compound, which is fructose 6-phosphate, which is then isomerized to glucose 6-phosphate, and push it to glycolysis to generate ATP. So both the fructose 6-phosphate that you have, you can make glucose 6-phosphate out of it using isomerase enzyme. उल्टा ऑफ ग्लाइकोलिसिस. ग्लाइकोलिसिस में हम ग्लूकोज 6-फॉस्फेट को आइसोमराइज करके कन्वर्ट करते थे इनटू फ्रुक्टोज 6-फॉस्फेट. अभी आप उल्टा जा रहे हो. ओके, सो ऐसे मुझे 2 मॉलिक्यूल्स मिल जाएंगे ग्लूकोज 6-फॉस्फेट के. फिर भी कुछ बचता है मेरे पास. क्या बचता है मेरे पास? ये बंदा बचता है मेरे पास. अभी इसका भी इलाज है. इसका क्या इलाज है? तो वो ये देखो. अगर समझो मैंने 2 नॉन ऑक्सीडेटिव फेसेस साथ में रन किए. ओके, सो मेरे को एक में से मिलता है 2 फ्रुक्टोज 6-फॉस्फेट मॉलिक्यूल, बराबर, और एक ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड 3-फॉस्फेट, है कि नहीं? ये दोनों कन्वर्ट हो जाएंगे टू ग्लूकोज 6-फॉस्फेट. सिमिलरली यहां पे भी मुझे मिलता है fructose 6-phosphate, which will be converted to glucose 6-phosphate, which means I'm running 2 cycles, okay, together is what it means, and I get 1 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. That is what they're indicating by this 3C. So 2 glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate अगर मेरे पास है, एक को मैंने अगर DHAP में कन्वर्ट कर दिया, तो DHAP and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate can fuse together to give me fructose 6-phosphate. उल्टा जा रहे हैं हम ग्लाइकोलिसिस का, और rather fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, not fructose 6-phosphate, fructose 1,6-bisphosphate, because यही तुम ब्रेक करते थे in aldolase reaction to give you DHAP and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Do you remember that? fructose 1,6-bisphosphate को हम क्लीव करते थे ताकि DHAP और glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. अभी इसमें से अगर मैंने एक फॉस्फेट निकाला तो मुझे फ्रुक्टोज 6-फॉस्फेट मिलेगा. इसको मैंने आइसोमराइज किया तो मुझे ग्लूकोज 6-फॉस्फेट मिलेगा. तो मैंने ग्लिसराल्डिहाइड 3 फॉस्फेट को भी ग्लूकोज तक कन्वर्ट कर दिया है, वो भी वेस्ट नहीं जा रहा। बस इतना ही है कि 2 साइकिल्स का ग्लिसराल्डिहाइड 3 फॉस्फेट जब साथ में आएगा तब ये पॉसिबल है। तो अगर 2 साइकिल्स के हिसाब से गिनोगे तो दोनों साइकिल से हमने कितने ग्लूकोज 6 फॉस्फेट जनरेट कर लिए टोटल? 1, 2, 3, 4 and 5. Is this clear to you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Do you want me to repeat it? Anyone? Sahil, Karan, have you understood it?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Understood.
So this is how you will generate 5 molecules of glucose 6 phosphate from the non-oxidative phase, that to 2 cycles of non-oxidative phase which is taking place. Okay, so I want you to quickly write the reaction down. I think you have to write from the trans-aldolase reaction, right?
Yes, sir.
Likho. And let me know once done so I can change the slides. Okay, these two schemes you can directly refer from the book. So you need not write it down. Okay, you can directly refer from the book. The reference for this is Leninger. Okay, so you can refer both the schemes from Leninger itself. Okay, so have a look at this general scheme of the HMP or the triple P process. They have shown you how uh, you can have both of these connected with each other, both the phases connected with each other, wherein in the oxidative phase you are converting glucose 6 phosphate to the level of ribose 5 phosphate. But obviously if you don't need the pentoses and if the process was just for generating NADPH, which can be utilized for biosynthesis process or even for dealing with reactive oxygen species, then you can convert ribulose 5 phosphate, uh, or rather channelize it to the non-oxidative phase, where transketolase and transaldolase with different steps will help you convert it back to the level of glucose 6 phosphate, right? So this is the way in which the oxidative and the non-oxidative phases can be connected with each other. Obviously there is a regulation associated with it, like if you have enough NADPH molecules generated and it is not being utilized, it is getting accumulated, then this NADPH will stop the conversion of glucose 6 phosphate to gluconolactone, which means that glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase will be inhibited if enough NADPH molecules have accumulated inside the cell, so that the oxidative phase will not continue, and the HMP will be brought to a halt, because if you do not carry out the oxidative phase, there is no question of carrying out the non-oxidative phase, right? So if you bring the halt there, then glucose 6 phosphate will be free to move into glycolysis. That's the regular respiration process. So if NADPH accumulates and glucose 6 phosphate dehydrogenase is inhibited by NADPH, then glucose 6 phosphate will be channelized towards glycolysis. So that's how the balance between the process of HMP and glycolysis will be maintained, because glycolysis is equally important. You cannot forget that it's the central metabolic pathway. Here we are doing this only when we need pentoses and NADPH. So if we have enough reserves of NADPH, then we need not carry out HMP anymore, and we can shift to our regular process of glycolysis and Krebs cycle, right? We will come to the significance, but after understanding what exactly happens in phosphoketolase and transketolase and transaldolase reactions, because जो reaction अभी हमने देखा transketolase या transaldolase का, वो बहुत ही सिंपल है, बट इतना सिंपल वो रिएक्शन होता नहीं है. Okay, those reactions are extremely complicated set of reactions, and how that takes place is what we have to focus. आज एटलीस्ट एक पार्ट देख लेते हैं हम लोग, एटलीस्ट ट्रांसकीटोलेस का पार्ट देख लेते हैं, और ट्रांसअल्डोलेस का पार्ट हम लोग अगले लेक्चर में देखेंगे. Okay, so for this, for understanding how the reactions take place, I am going to show you the book Voigt, because Voigt is the only book which explains or elucidates the entire mechanism of the reaction. आपको कोई भी और book में ये mechanism मिलने वाला नहीं है. Okay, so Voigt is that only book which shows you the entire process. Just give me a minute to cast the book. Okay, is it visible to all of you?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay. Are you able to see the cursor? Is the cursor visible to you?
No, sir.
No, sir.
No, sir.
Now?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Okay, fine. So let me see if I can write over this. That would be great, but I really doubt if that's possible. Let me just check. No, I don't think so I can. Okay, not a problem. So you can see here that this particular structure, this entire area is your thymine pyrophosphate. Okay. This entire structure that you see is thymine pyrophosphate. थाइमीन पायरोफॉस्फेट के इस रिंग स्ट्रक्चर पर जहां पर नेगेटिव साइन दिखाया हुआ है वहां पर ज़ाइलुलोज 5 फॉस्फेट जाकर अटैच होता है. Okay, this is the mechanism for transketolase. You know that in transketolase TPP is the coenzyme. So this is the site where my xylulose 5-phosphate will attach, and which part of xylulose 5-phosphate is attaching? See here, the ketonic carbon is what is going to attach over here. Okay, so the ketonic carbon will attach over here, and one proton will be taken up from the external environment. Okay, so as to nullify for or rather to break the C double bond O and convert it into OH. Because यहाँ पे देखो C double bond O ग्रुप था, कीटोनिक ग्रुप था, तो वो जब हम अटैच कर रहे हैं यहाँ पर हम एक हाइड्रोजन ऐड करने वाले हैं such that it becomes OH group, the hydroxyl group. So you can see CH2OH, C, the ketonic carbon now has the hydroxyl group attached to it, and the rest of the structure is as it is. Okay, now what we are going to do is we are going to eliminate this hydrogen. Okay, जो थर्ड कार्बन का हाइड्रोजन है, जहां पे देखो ब्लैक एरो दिखाया हुआ है, हाइड्रोजन जो है वो सी की तरफ जा रहा है, दिखाया हुआ है वो पार्ट, that hydrogen of the hydroxyl group we are going to remove. Okay, when we will remove this hydrogen, it is obvious that the strain is going to come onto the bonds between the green colored carbon and the black colored carbon which is shown there. Okay, वो bond टूट जाएगा. That bond will break between carbon and carbon, the green and black colored carbon. So now, which means that this compound at the base, which is black in color, is going to be released free. So it will become C double bond O, H, CHOH, and CH2 phosphate group. That is nothing but your glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate. Okay, and one hydrogen which was removed from its hydroxyl group has come out free. Okay, and because I have break something over here, now it's going to be a double bond that's going to be generated. Okay, यहाँ पे तुम देख सकते हो कि यहाँ पे डबल बॉन्ड जनरेट हो जाएगा. Okay, between the ring shaped structure and the carbon, which will be readjusted, it will be modified such that that double bond is shifted between nitrogen and carbon. ये double bond क्यों आया था रिंग और कार्बन के बीच में? क्योंकि हमने यहाँ से कुछ ग्रुप तोड़ दिया था, तो डबल बॉन्ड यहाँ पे आया था और यहाँ का जो नाइट्रोजन और कार्बन का डबल बॉन्ड है वो निकल गया था. So that's how we got this 1,2-dihydroxyethyl TPP, because this is the name of the structure wherein you can see that the double bond is between the ring structure and the carbon. Now we are readjusting that. We are getting the double bond back between nitrogen and carbon, which means that now here you have a chance to attach something. As you shift the double bond up, you have a chance to attach something over here. So what is that? We are going to attach the other compound in the process. What was the other compound in the process of transketolase? You had xylulose 5-phosphate and ribose 5-phosphate, right? So I'm going to attach ribose 5-phosphate over here. Okay, we are going to bring in ribose 5-phosphate here, and the hydrogen which was removed, that will help us to convert this C double bond O into COH. तो जो हाइड्रोजन हमने पहले निकाला था वो हाइड्रोजन अब मुझे मदद करेगा to convert this C double bond O into the hydroxyl group. So you can see what is happening over here. So अभी मेरे पास वो पूरा स्ट्रक्चर है, देखो C double bond O has got converted into hydroxyl group, right? So I have the entire structure. How many carbons? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. So that's pseudoheptulose 7-phosphate. तो pseudoheptulose 7-phosphate को अगर मुझे फ्री रिलीज करना है तो मुझे ये रिंग शेप स्ट्रक्चर और इस 7 कार्बन के कंपाउंड के बीच में जो बॉन्ड है वो तोड़ना पड़ेगा. वो तोड़ने के लिए तुमको जो हाइड्रोजन तुमने स्टार्ट में उसमें डाला था, यहाँ पे हाइड्रोजन था नहीं, हमने डाला था अगर याद हो तो, वो हाइड्रोजन हमको वापस लौटाना पड़ेगा. So we'll remove this hydrogen, okay, which will bring the strain in this bond between the ring shape structure and carbon. Okay, that bond will be broken. So TPP enzyme is released free, and I get my pseudoheptulose 7-phosphate released. I'll repeat again very quickly. Okay, फटाक से एक बार देख लेते. So what are we doing over here? We have TPP. TPP में एक साइट है जहां पर हम xylulose 5-phosphate अटैच कर रहे हैं. The ketonic carbon is attaching over there, but I am converting this ketonic group wherein the double bond will be broken. A hydrogen from outside will be added to convert it to a hydroxyl group. Okay, you're forming the hydroxyl group there, post which you are removing the hydrogen from the hydroxyl group of third carbon, which is bringing a strain. So this bond is broken and glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is released. Okay, and the free hydrogen is released. Now you have a double bond between the ring shaped structure and carbon. To stabilize that, we shifted the double bond into the ring and brought the single bond between the ring and the carbon again, giving an opportunity to join ribose 5-phosphate over here, okay, with the hydrogen which was removed earlier, so that the C double bond O gets converted into hydroxyl group. So now we have a 7-carbon structure attached to the enzyme TPP complex. Okay, I'm going to remove this particular 7-carbon structure and release it as sedoheptylose 7-phosphate, for which I have to remove this hydrogen which was donated earlier and give it back to the external environment such that it becomes C double bond O. So that will break this bond between the ring structure and the 7-carbon structure, releasing TPP enzyme complex free and sedoheptylose 7-phosphate free. So पहले ही हमने ग्लिसरॉल्डिहाइड 3-phosphate निकाल दिया था और अभी सेडोहेप्टिलोस 7-phosphate भी निकाल दिया है. अब ये दोनों पार्टिसिपेट करेंगे इन द ट्रांसल्डोलेज रिएक्शन. Is it clear till this point? Have you understood the mechanism?
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
So
Yes,
वोएट
sir.
सामने रखो, वोएट का पेज नंबर लिख के लो. शायद तुमको स्क्रीन पे पेज नंबर दिख रहा होगा अभी. 924 925 पेज है. सो वो नोट करके रखो, सो दैट जब भी आप पढ़ो और आपको ऐसा लगे कि ये होता कैसे. ये एग्जाम में तुमसे एक्सपेक्टेड नहीं है पूरा मैकेनिज्म पता होना, बट वो जो बच्चागिरी है ना, ये इधर से ट्रांसफर होके उधर अटैच किया, ये इतने आसानी से होता नहीं है. Okay, it is happening step by step, wherein first xylulose 5-phosphate is being dealt with, glyceraldehyde 3-phosphate is released, and then ribose 5-phosphate comes into the picture and sedoheptylose is formed. तो वहां पे जो हम लोग बोलते हैं हाँ ये यहाँ से तोड़ के यहाँ अटैच करो, वहां से ये अटैच करके यहाँ निकाल के लगा दो, ऐसे नहीं होता. It's happening in a stepwise manner, so that mechanism has to be known. Okay, ठीक है. So we will discuss next week. Remember that next week is a very significant week. Nikita, please note and inform people who are absent today not to remain absent next week, because next entire week, Monday, Tuesday in our regular lectures, Wednesday, Thursday in the afternoon at 3 p.m., we will be dealing with Krebs cycle. I don't want a single person to remain absent, however sick you are. I don't care. Log in and at least listen. Let it go into your ears. Krebs cycle is very, very significant, and we are going to complete Krebs cycle in the next week. I don't want anyone to remain absent during Krebs cycle lectures. Okay, so Monday, Tuesday in
Yes,
regular
sir.
lectures, Wednesday, Thursday at 3 p.m. Once we finish the transaldolase discussion, that will take not more than 10 minutes, and we discuss the significance of HMP, immediately on Monday we will start Krebs cycle. Okay, that's it for today. See you all in the practicals.
Thank you, sir.